Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Divedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment. Consider the following sentences about Gahirmatha Marine Sanctuary. Gahirmatha is the mass nesting spot in the Indian Ocean region and the only turtle sanctuary in Odisha. It is the world's largest nesting beach of olive ridley sea turtles. Gahirmatha was declared a turtle sanctuary in 2019 by the Odisha government after considering its ecological importance and as part of efforts to save the sea turtles. Gahirmatha Marine Sanctuary is part of the Pulicat National Park. So, which of the following sentences is or are correct? 1, 2 and 4 only, 2, 3 and 4 only, 1 and 2 only, or D, 1, 3 and 4 only. Let's solve it together. So if we talk about Gahirmatha, yes, it is the mass nesting spot in the Indian Ocean region, and also if we talk about this part, only turtle sanctuary in Odisha, that is also correct. So the first statement is correct. Second one says it is the world's largest nesting beach of olive ridley sea turtles, that is also correct. And the third says Gahirmatha was declared a turtle sanctuary in the year 2019. Here comes the glitch. It was declared so in the year 1997. So this is incorrect. The fourth statement says that it is a part of the Pulicat National Park, but no, it is part of the Bhitarkanika National Park. So the correct answer for this question would be B. Beg your pardon, C, 1 and 2 only. So C, 1 and 2 only. Moving on. Now yes, we have already discussed the first statement and the second statement. It is the world's largest nesting beach of olive ridley sea turtles, and Gahirmatha was declared a turtle sanctuary in 1997, considering its ecological importance as a part or efforts to save the sea turtles. It is part of the Bhitarkanika National Park, and the other two includes the area of Bhitarkanika National Park and the Bhitarkanika Wildlife Sanctuary. Moving on to the first question of today's GK, you have to consider the following statements. With reference to the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSSAI is an autonomous statutory body established under the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Government of India is the administrative ministry of FSSAI. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So the first statement says that it is an autonomous statutory body. This is correct, and also established under the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006. This is also correct. So the first statement is correct. The second statement, though, it says that it is working under the aegis of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, which is incorrect because it is working under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Keep that in mind. So the correct answer for this question would be A, that is 1 only. Now, we have discussed the first statement and the second statement as well. It is headquartered at Delhi, and if we talk about the Act of 2006, it consolidates various acts and orders that had earlier handled food-related issues in various ministries and departments, such as Prevention of Food Adulteration Act of 1954, Food Products Order, Meat Food Products Order, and Vegetable Oil Products Control Order, Edible Oils Packaging Order, Milk and Milk Products Order. Moving on, let's look at the next question. Consider the following statements with reference to Indian National Centre for Ocean Information Services. INCOIS is an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. It is mandated to provide the best possible ocean information and advisory services to government agencies only. So, moving on to the options. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So, let's solve it together. The first statement, it says that it works under the aegis of Ministry of Earth Sciences as an autonomous organization. The first statement is correct. Alright, and I have told you a trick about the second statement. Whenever there is a word only at the end of a sentence, that sentence mostly tends to be false. So the second statement is incorrect. Moving on, the correct answer for this question would be A. So this autonomous organization is located in Hyderabad and was established in 1999 as a unit of the Earth System Science Organization, New Delhi. The ESSO operates as an executive arm of Ministry of Earth Sciences for its policies as well as programs, and it is mandated to provide the best possible ocean information and advisory services to society, industry, government agencies, and the scientific community through sustained ocean observations and constant improvement through systematic and focused research. Alright, and not to government agencies only. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with reference to Financial Action Task Force. It is an intergovernmental body established in 1989 during the G20 summit in Paris. It is aimed to set standards and promote effective implementation of legal, regulatory, and operational measures for combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and other related threats to the integrity of the international financial system. Also, its secretariat is located at the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, headquarters in Paris. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. Let's solve it together. So, the first statement says that it is an intergovernmental body. That is correct. And it was established in the year 1989. That is also correct. During the G20 summit. Now, this is false because it was established during the G7 summit in Paris, not G20. Alright. And the second statement is correct. Moving on. The third statement, yes, it is headquartered and located at the Organization for Economic Cooperation in Paris. So, the correct answer for this question would be B. Now, if we talk about the objectives of the FATF, these are to set standards and promote effective implementation of legal, regulatory, and operational measures for combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and measures and also other related threats to the integrity of the international financial system. Correct. And of course, we have talked about its headquarters, and it consists of 37 members jurisdictions. India is one of the members, and FATF has two lists, grey list and black list. So under grey list, countries that are considered safe haven for supporting terror, funding, and money laundering are put in the FATF grey list. The inclusion serves as a warning to the country that it may enter the blacklist, such as Pakistan, and blacklist countries known as non-cooperative countries or territories. They are put in this blacklist, and these countries support terror funding and money laundering activities, and the FATF revises the blacklist regularly, adding or deleting entries. The FATF plenary is the decision-making body of FATF, and it meets 3 times per year. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with reference to Swachh Iconic Places, SIP. It is an initiative under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. The objective of SIP is to achieve a distinctly higher level of sanitation or cleanliness at selected places, especially on the peripheries and in approach areas. The project is being coordinated by Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Jal Shakti, among others. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. Let's solve it together. So, yes, it is initiated under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. This is correct. Second one says the objective of this scheme is to achieve a distinctly higher level of sanitation or cleanliness at selected places, especially on the peripheries and approach areas. And this project is being coordinated by the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Jal Shakti, among others. This is also correct. All the 3 statements are correct. So the correct option would be D. The department, we have already talked about it. So DDWS, Ministry of Jal Shakti, it has announced the selection of the 12 iconic sites under phase 4 of Swachh Iconic Places, and under such iconic places initiative of Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, it aims to transform the iconic heritage, spiritual and cultural places in a country as Swachh tourist destinations. Alright. Also, the objective we have talked about, and the project is being coordinated by the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Jal Shakti in association with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture and concerned state and union territories government. Moving on to the next question. The City Innovation Exchange platform is recently in news and it's launched by which of the following? Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Niti Aayog, Ministry of MSMEs, both A and B. So, if you could take a hint, city means, of course, an urban area may come under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So, the correct answer for this question is, of course, A. Moving on, the City Innovation Exchange platform, it was launched by the Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and the City Innovation Exchange will connect cities to innovators across the national ecosystem to design innovative solutions for their pressing challenges. Designed on the philosophy of everyone is an innovator, the platform will bring together citizen organization, academia, business, government to co-create for the future of urban India in a transparent and sustainable manner. The platform will ease the discovery, design and validation of solutions through a robust, transparent and user-centric process that will reduce barriers for innovators and cities to discover fitting solutions. The platform has more than 400 startups, 100 smart cities, more than 150 challenges, statements and over 215 solutions at the time of launch. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with reference to Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. The Act allowed the trial of all juveniles in the age group of 16 to 18 years as adults, and the Act streamlined adoption procedures for orphans, abandoned and surrendered children. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. So the first statement, it says that the Act allows the trial of juveniles belonging to the age span of 16 to 18 years as adults. This is not correct. It is being said that under this Act, the children who belong to this particular category will be having trial as the case determines. Alright? Basis on the case. And yes, the second statement is correct that it has streamlined the adoption process for orphaned or surrendered or abandoned children. This is correct. So the correct answer to this question would be B. So the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act was introduced and passed in the Parliament in 2015 to replace the Juvenile Delinquency Law and Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2000. One of the main provisions of the new Act was allowing the trial of juveniles in conflict with law in the age group of 16 to 18 years as adults in cases where the crimes were to be determined. The second major provision was with regards to adoption, bringing a more universally acceptable adoption law instead of the Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act of 1956 and Guardians of the Ward Act, which was for Muslims, although the Act did not replace these laws. The Act streamlined adoption procedures for orphans, abandoned and surrendered children, and the existing Central Adoption Resource Authority has been given the status of a statutory body to enable it to perform its functions more effectively. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements about accredited investors. They have an understanding of various financial products and the risks and returns associated with them. They are allowed to trade securities that may not be registered with financial authorities. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. So, both the given statements are correct. The correct answer would be C, both 1 and 2. Recently, the Security and Exchange Board of India sought comments on the proposal to introduce the concept of accredited investors in the Indian securities market. Now, these are also called qualified investors or professional investors. These are those who have an understanding of various financial products and the risks and return associated with them. They are able to make informed decisions regarding their investments and are recognized by many securities and financial market regulators globally. Generally, they are allowed to trade securities that may not be registered with financial authorities. They are entitled to this privilege access by satisfying requirements regarding their income, net worth, asset size, governance status, or professional experience as well. So, The Senkaku Island dispute is between which of the following countries? Japan and Russia, Japan and China, China and Philippines, Russia and China. Very much in news, you must know this. So the correct answer for this question would be Japan and China. Alright. Moving on to the explanation. Recently, China called the Japan-US Mutual Security Pact as a product of the Cold War, following USA's criticism of the presence of Chinese Coast Guard vessels in Japanese. Recently, China called the Japan-US Mutual Security Pact a product of the Cold War, following USA's criticism of the presence of Chinese Coast Guard vessels in Japanese claimed territorial waters. Now, the Senkaku Island dispute concerns a territorial dispute over a group of uninhabited islands known as Senkaku Islands in Japan, the Diaoyu Islands in China, and the Diaoyu Islands in Taiwan. Both Japan and China claim ownership of these islands. You could see the location in the map. Moving on to the next question. With reference to National Commission for the Scheduled Castes, consider the following statements. It is a constitutional body. The erstwhile National Commission for SC and ST was replaced by two separate commissions by the 65th Amendment. The chairperson and members are appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So, let's solve it together. Yes, this is a constitutional body, and because it is a constitutional body, of course, the third statement would be correct, that the chairperson and members are appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal. But they were not replaced by two separate commissions. They were not bifurcated by 65th Amendment but 89th Amendment. So this is incorrect. Alright. So first and the third statement, these two statements are correct. Correct option would be B. Now recently Vijay Sampla has been appointed as the chairman of the National Commission for Scheduled Castes, and it is a constitutional body that works to safeguard the interests of the scheduled castes in India. And Article 338 of the Constitution of India provides for a National Commission for Scheduled Castes with duties to investigate and monitor all matters relating to safeguards provided for them, to inquire into specific complaints, and to participate and advise on the planning process of their socio-economic development. If we talk about their history and origin, Special Officer. Initially, the Constitution provided for the appointment of Special Officer under Article 338, and the Special Officer was designated as the Commissioner for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes. Now, if we talk about the 65th Amendment of 1990, it replaced the one-member system with a multi-member National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes. And the Constitution Act 1990, that is 65th Amendment, it amended Article 338 of the Constitution. If we talk about the 89th Amendment of 2003, by this amendment, the erstwhile National Commission for SC and ST was replaced by two separate commissions for the year 2004, which were National Commission for Scheduled Castes and National Commission for Scheduled Tribes under Article 338A. If we talk about the structure, it consists of a chairperson, vice chairperson, and 3 other members. They are appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal. Moving on to the next question. With reference to blank check company, consider the following statements. It is an entity specifically set up with the objective of acquiring a firm in particular sector. It aims to raise money in an initial public offering, and at this point in time, it does not have any operations or revenues. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? So, if we talk about it, both these statements are correct. So, the correct answer to this question would be C, both 1 and 2. Recently, renewable energy producer Renew Power announced an agreement to merge with RMG Acquisition Corp to a blank check company or a special purpose acquisition company. About blank check company, if we talk about SPAC or a blank check company, is an entity specifically set up with the objective of acquiring a firm in particular sector. And the aim is to raise money in the initial public offering. And at this point in time, it does not have any operations or revenues. Once the money is raised from the public, it is kept in an escrow account which can be accessed while making the acquisition, and if the acquisition is not made within 2 years of the IPO, the SPAC is delisted and the money is returned to the investor. Moving on to the practice question for our next segment. Consider the following statements about Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. partnership agreements or cooperation agreements are less comprehensive than a free trade agreement. CEPA covers negotiation on the trade in service and investment and other areas of economic partnership. India has signed CEPAs with South Korea and Japan. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So I hope you will be able to answer it correctly. Now let's take it off, and that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.